first-of-its-kind, self-sustaining tropical Madagascar rainforest is built in Switzerland.
It is in the middle of the rainforest, and it's not like a museum, it's an habitat where he has to use all his senses.
Then, how did this zoo create the untamed wilderness for ferocious grizzly bears in the middle of Seattle?
We're trying to create a visceral response to these bears, so you're seeing them in a context instead of seeing them laying there bored to death.
Finally, this zoo sent shockwaves through the zoo community by establishing the first-of-its-kind predator versus prey simulations.
We had a lot of doubting promises out there. They said, if you ever can get this to work, it'll take at least 2 years to get the animals trained to rotate through all here, and quite frankly, you'll be lucky if it ever happens.
We found the best zoo habitats on the planet and brought them together in one place. A world we call the ultimate zoo. The east coast of Africa, on the island of Madagascar, is the Mashuala rainforest. One of the richest ecological hotspots on the planet. A place where over half of its animal and plant species can't be found anywhere else in the world. But now, one zoo is set on the impossible mission to recreate this warm tropical oasis right in the heart of snowbound Switzerland. How could they foster such a delicate ecosystem in the tropics' polar opposite? The resounding answer for Zoo Zurich can be summed up in 2 words: very slowly. Prepare yourself for the zoo of the future. Zoo Zurich's Mashuala Rainforest. Creating a rainforest is no simple task. This is a complex environment where the warm, moist climate fosters a virtual community of plants and animals that rely on each other for survival. Zurich, though, would have to be patient. This exhibit is taking 25 years to create. First, there was 10 years for the design and construction. But then, after it was open to the public, it would take another 15 years for nature to actually create the ecological balance to support the environment. Curator Martin Bauer is an expert in the development of ecosystems. He has worked with them for 35 years and now is charged to make sure this painstakingly slow evolution remains on track.
Our aim is to have here a functioning ecosystem. There are a lot of fruits growing, and they are consumed by the animals, and they drop their animal waste, and this is nutrient for the trees again. We don't clean up fallen leaves on the soil, we just let them decompose, and this gives the nutrients free again to the plants, and the plants regrow again. It's a cycle like in the nature.
The Madagascar rainforest was chosen because it is one of the most endangered on the planet. It also didn't have any large carnivores or poisonous snakes. So it was an ecosystem that could not only be authentically recreated in a zoo environment, but also one that fits the zoo's goal of offering a rainforest where visitors could walk freely among the animals without any barriers or signs. Living amongst the 17,000 plants would be roughly 300 animal species. Some would be carnivores who feed on insects, but the majority would be vegetarians that would feed just like in the wild. The most prominent creatures of the ecosystem would be the lemurs. 5 species would be introduced into Zurich's rainforest, where they would be able to roam freely through the canopy, just like in the wild. The lemur's biggest competitor for food would be the flying foxes, aka Madagascar fruitbat. With a wingspan up to 4 feet, it is one of the largest bats in the world. And a 30-foot tall ceiling would give the bats free flight over the lush canopy. But Martin would have to be cautious. he knew that the forest ecosystem could only support the diets of 880 pounds of animals. He would have to calculate the weight of each species, as well as their future offspring. If the combined species weight went over the limit, it would tip the balance and the exhibit would never evolve. But none of this would mean anything if the zoo couldn't sustain the specific climate the biomass needed to survive. This was a tricky game, because once the staff mastered it, they could never turn it off. If they did, the Swiss air would kill everything inside. Zoo Zurich had to ensure the system would be fail-safe, and that meant using as little energy as possible. First came the structure itself. To isolate the exhibit from the Swiss air, they would create an inflatable space-age shell. A two-layer, air-filled translucent Teflon membrane that could inflate and deflate according to the outside temperatures. With the roof cells pumped up, it would provide increased insulation and temperature control, even when it was freezing outside. Meanwhile, its translucence would provide the forest the essential UV rays of a greenhouse. Next came the challenge of creating the climate itself, a task that would require a virtual factory larger than the entire exhibit. There was only one place where miles of gigantic vents and piping would fit: underground. This 3-acre underground lab room is the heart and pulse of Zoo Zurich's rainforest. It's an automated system that regulates the temperature and humidity of the hall 24 hours a day. In the daytime, the rainforest is heated by the sun through the outer shell. Then, when things get too hot, ventilators in the basement spring to life. Head engineer Marino Manzoni would be responsible for maintaining the exhibit's environment.
This ventilator starts turning, sucks in the air, blows it through the opening and into these big sound dampeners, so the visitor inside the rainforest does not hear any raging noise. It is then blown into these air ducts and blown into the rainforest.
Finally, the cool, quiet air is distributed evenly through 52 air outlets. When the rainforest cools down in the evening, that hot air from the day is re-released back into the forest to create a warm, tropical night. Around the clock, the system maintains temperatures between 70 and 95 degrees. Still, one element was missing. Unlike Switzerland, Madagascar has 80% humidity. In the wild, these tropical plants get 1/4 of an inch of rain each day. So to mirror nature, a water system unleashes 2 11,000-gallon rainstorms daily that cross the forest like a small-scale storm. Just a year before opening, Zoo Zurich's unparalleled rainforest simulation was nearing completion. Soon, the Mashuala rainforest would be open to the public. Everything was moving like clockwork. That was until Mother Nature put them in their place. Coming up next on Ultimate Zoo, hail the size of golf balls damages the state-of-the-art inflatable roof, flooding the tropical environment with the cold Swiss air. Will an exhibit 10 years into evolution be reduced to an empty shell? That's next on Ultimate Zoo.